In the toddy shop, laborers were waging their hands from side to side. In 1962, India was deeply shocked by the treachery of Chinese, and in the toddy shop, the laborers described a scene just as shocking. The old man had built himself a brick house. Now, this is a reference of 1962 Chinese treachery, and this gives the significant historical event. Shilal Shukla is trying to associate things in the past, and most often he is trying to associate things which are controversial and problematic related to the history. The old man had built himself a brick house. He is living in real style like a big factory wala. We told him, "Look, we have guests. Give us couple of rupees for toddy," but he didn't give us a straight answer. He just showed us his backside and walked off. Tell me, Nageshwar, is this humanity? Now, this reference of humanity is very often and very powerful satire discussed in this chapter number 10, Raag Darbari. And we are completing the rest of the half of the chapter 10 from Raag Darbari. This is to say that Shivpalganj humanity was believed to be a feature of ingenuity and shrewdness, and in the same way that leadership is a feature of politics. It's another matter that Badri considered humanity the weakness of man with no muscle. Conveying this thought to Ranganath and leaving him to lie awake and apply the principle of leadership, Badri fell asleep as he spoke. Now, this reference of humanity is very satirical and very ironical, and how this has been used, it is a matter of appeasement and amusement for the readers to listen and read. Ranganath laid wrapped in a blanket, staring at the ceiling. The door was open and outside moonlight spread over the land. For a while he concentrated on Sophia Loren and Elizabeth Taylor, but then he realized that this was a sign of low character and began to think instead of the town washerman's daughter who, when selecting items of clothing for herself from the washing, had begun to favor sleeveless blouses. After some time, he began to think that this too was a sordid preoccupation and began to concentrate on film stars again. And this in time, in the name of nationalism and patriotism, he forgot Liz Taylor, etc., and turned for support to Wahida Rahman and Saira Bano. A few minutes later, he began to reach the conclusion that it is wrong to take your inspiration for everything from the West, and that if you put your heart into it, you can also get a lot of pleasure from patriotism. Suddenly, he began to feel rather sleepy, and though he tried hard, his concentration dwindled even when faced with Saira Banu's full body. Some tigers and bears began to bounce around in his imagination, and he made one last great effort to grasp Saira Banu by her waist and pull her down. But she slipped from his hands, and while he was engaged in this love play, the bears and tigers also escaped. It was then that a picture of Khanna Master began to form and fades in his mind. It shimmered once or twice, and one word began to resound: humanity, humanity. So in this paragraph, we see the reference of Saira Banu, Wahida Rahman, and it is but obvious that Ranganath is only thinking their body as a woman, not as the talented actresses in the Hindi cinema. And before that, he was thinking of Sophia Loren and Elizabeth Taylor, and in the obvious manner, that also about their physique in his imagination. But as a woman, he is not able to think about their talent and performance on the screen. So that is what the satire we find here. And initially he think of foreign ladies, and then he's struck by the nationalism, and then he start thinking about Indian actresses and Indian cinema stars, female cinema stars. So that is how he defined his patriotism. And later on we talk about the humanity. So there are 3-4 references have come related to humanity. That is what in the first para This is to say that in Shivpalganj, humanity was believed to be a feature of ingenuity and shrewdness, in the same way that leadership is feature of politics. It's another matter that Badri considered humanity the weakness of man with no muscle. So Badri Pahalwan think that humanity, the talk of humanity is done by only those people who don't have muscle power, those who are not ready to fight for every single reason. And here in the last, humanity is coming in the other reference. It was then that a picture of Khanna master began to form and fade in this mind. It shimmered once or twice, and one word began to resound: humanity, humanity. At first, it seems as if someone were whispering it, then it seems as if someone standing on a stage were calling it out in grave tone. Then it seems as if riots had broken out, and nowhere and from all directions people were screaming, humanity, humanity, humanity. So this, in a translated book of English version of Raag Darbari, page number 83, you will find the reference of humanity, and this is very satirical and ironical. He woke up and immediately heard shouts, "A thief, 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 don't let him get away, catch him, thief, thief, thief." After a few moments, the only thing you can make out was thief, thief, as if a gramophone record had got struck. Ranganath heard the voices heading from the other side of the village. Badri wrestler had leaped down from his charboy at the first alarm. Ranganath also sat up. Badri said, "Chote, tell me that there is a gang of thieves hanging around the neighborhood. It looks like they have come into the village too." They both dressed hurriedly and went out onto the roof. Getting dressed didn't mean that Badri had to put on churidar pajama and sherwani. He tightened around his waist the lion cloth hanging loosely over his naked body and wrapped a shawl about him. With that, he completed his dressing ritual. Ranganath had not been able to acquire such an ascetic habit. He pulled on a shirt. As they reached the top of the stairs, their steps hastened even more. By then, he cried off, "Thief!" They were rising from all directions. The clamor had increased so much that the news was passed from mouth to mouth that had the British heard in 1921, they would have left India on the spot and run back to their own country. So here, the reference of 1921 is with the regard of Britishers, and earlier we talked about 1962 war, that is with the China, reference of China. They both ran downstairs, leaving the sitting room. Badri wrestler said to Ranganath, "Shut the door and sit here at home. I will go out and see what's going on." Just then Rupan Babu came out from inside the house. Flying the end of the dhoti over his shoulder, he rushed over to where they were standing and said, "Both of you stay at home. I will go outside." It was as if going outside meant displaying outstanding bravery or facing an impregnable battle information. Both brothers remained determined to go. Ranganath spoke in a martyr tone, "If it means so much to you, then both of you go ahead. I will stay alone at home." On the road in front of them, 3 men ran past shouting, "Thief, thief!" 2 others follow in their wake, raising the same cry. Then a lone man passed, also roaring, "Thief, thief!" Then 3 men, each one with a lathi. All of them were running. All of them were chasing the thieves. Badri recognized some of the tailed enders of the possession. He ran off to meet them, calling out, "Who is that, Chote? Where is the thief?" Chote was breathing heavily as he said, "Up ahead, they are gone up ahead." For a while, peace descended. Rupan Babu and Ranganath shoved the door of the sitting room, locked it, and went back to the roof. Below them, Vediji hawked, spat, and said, "Who is there?" Rupan Babu answered, "Thief, father." Vediji was annoyed and thundered, "Who is there? Rupan, are you there on the roof?" Adding to the general uproar in the village, and as best he could, Rupan replied, "Yes, it's me. Why are you asking when you know it's me? Why don't you sleep in peace?" Hearing this younger son's respectful tone, Vediji became silent. On a roof, Rupan Babu and Ranganath listened to the voices spreading and bursting out over the whole village. From behind the road of the house, someone shouted, "Murder! They are murdering me." More noise, someone yelled me, "Arey, no, chote, this is Baguti. Let go of him, over there. The thieves are over there." Someone was weeping, someone also consoled him, "Arey, why are you wailing like a widow? He just hit you once with this stick and you are making all this tone." So now this reference of why are you wailing like a widow, एक विधवा की तरह क्यों रो रहे हो, ये रेफरेंस बताता है कि महिलाओं को हमेशा नेगेटिव रेफरेंस में ही सेंस में ही बात की जाती है और रोने धोने का काम औरतों का है, जो ट्रेडिशनल पर्सपेक्टिव है उसमें, और नहीं रोने का काम आदमी का है. तो दिस इज हाउ द patriarchal concept goes on. So this reference again you remember in chapter 10, and this is almost last 2 or 3 pages of the chapter. Here we find what is that? Someone was weeping, someone else consoles him. Arey, why are you wailing like a widow? Why are you wailing like a widow? WAILING. He just hit you once with his stick and you are making all this noise. Sobbing, the answer came, "I will get my own back. Just wait and see. More tumult over there. Don't let him get away. Give the bugger one with your lathi. Make him jump. What's wrong? You think the bastard's your father?" Rangnath began to feel enjoyment as well as enthusiasm and curiosity. What a way of caring here. You used father as a term of abuse when you were thrashing a man with your lathi. You may prosper India for your filial devotion. So generally एक गाली दी जाती है, whatever if a man or anybody has caught doing wrong, then this is a satire or a expression is like ये तेरे बाप का है क्या, because father stands for the all kind of wealth, money and respect and dignity accumulation in the society. So mother doesn't have anything, because right to property, right to dignity, right to expression, right to individuality and right for self-expression is not being given to women. So that's how everything is associated with the father. तेरे बाप का है क्या? And this kind of reference we are here able to listen. Ranganath said, "This means real trouble." Rupan Babu disregarded him. "What's trouble? It's a matter of pulling off a wrestling trick." Chote looks as an idiot, but is really very canny. Then both pricked up their ears to listen to the noise and tumult around them. Ranganath said, "Perhaps the thieves have escaped. They always do here." Ranganath wanted to flatter Rupan Babu's pride in his village. He said, "It's not possible that any thief could come to Shopalganj and then get away. Once Brother Badri moved out, he can't fail to catch a couple of them." Rupan Babu sighed like a leader of lost generation, looking longingly at the past, and said, "No, brother Ranganath, the old days are over now. That was the time of Thakur Durbin Singh. The greatest thieves troubled at the name of Shopalganj." His eyes shone with the light of hero worship, but his speech stopped there. The last round of uproar had passed and the people were shouting, "Long live Lord Hanuman," so loudly that they appeared to be trying to split the heavens. Ranganath said, "It seems they have caught a thief." Rupan Babu replied, "No, I know these Ganjhas backwards. They must have chased the thieves out of the village. Isn't it enough that they have not been chased out of the village by the thieves? They are celebrating by shouting to Lord Hanumana." In the moonlight, people were wandering up and down the streets and alleys, muttering to one another. Rupan Babu stood by the wall on the edge of the roof and looked down. One group called out from below, "Keep awake, Rupan Babu, stay alert the whole night." Rupan Babu called down on them with contempt, "Be off with you, don't show off to me." Ranganath failed to comprehend why Rupan was disregarding such good advice in this manner. After a short while, similar advice began to resound all around the village. "Keep awake, keep alert." There was still intermittent curfew, KERFUFFLE, curfew full. There was Still intermittent kerfuffle. Now the spelling of kerfuffle is Kerfuffle and the pronunciation is kerfuffle. Kerfuffle means fuss or confusion. Okay, so intermittent kerfuffle. I repeat the spelling Kerfuffle. Kerfuffle means fuss, confusion. Loud whistles could also be heard from all directions. Ranganath asked, "What are they whistling for?" Rappan Babu replied, "Don't the police control in the town?" Oh, so the police have also turned up for occasion. Yes, it was the police who faced the dacoits with the help of villagers. It was the police who beat them up and chased them out of here. Ranganath looked at Rappan Babu in astonishment. Dacoits? Of course. Who else could they be? Do thieves overcome on the moonlight nights? They were certainly dacoits. Rappan let out a loud guffaw. Brother, these are the ways of Ganjhas. They are difficult to understand. I'm just telling you how all this is going to be reported in the papers. A whistle rang out from the street immediately below them. Rappan continued, "Have you seen Master Moti Ram or not? He is from the old school." The police inspector really respected him. You really respect the inspector. The principal respect both of them. None of these bastards does any work. They just keep on respecting each other. So this is a paragraph full of satire related to respect. You know how this word respect has been used here. A whistle rang out from the street immediately below them. Rappan continued, "Have you seen Master Moti Ram or not? He is from old school." The police inspector really respects him. He really respects the inspector. The principal respects both of them. None of the bastards does any work. They just keep respecting each other. The same Master Moti Ram is the correspondent of the town newspaper. If he doesn't turn the thieves into dacoits, then his name is not Mr. Master Moti Ram. Ranganath began to laugh. The whistle and shouts of the stray awake began to scatter and fade. Outside some houses, people began to shout to be let in. But phrase varying from "Open up, son," "Oh, what's the matter, you bugger? Are you dead? For God's sake, it's me out there. Your father," were brought into use and gain admission. Someone rattled the chain of the door of Vedaji's house too. A farmer sleeping outside coughed loudly. The chain rattled again. "Ranganath, it's me, brother Badri. Let's go and open the lock." They went downstairs and he unlocked the door. Rappan Babu asked, "Who is there?" Badri roars, "Are you opening the door or not? Why the hell are you asking who is there?" Rappan stopped unlocking the door. He said, "What's your name?" A throat-splitting cry came from the outside of the door. "Rappan, I'm telling you, open this door quietly or else." "Who is that? Who is it?" "Brother Badri?" Yes, it's me, Brother Badri speaking. "Open up at once." Beginning to open the lock with nervous fingers, Rappan said, "Brother Badri, tell me your father's name also." Crushing Brother Badri gave Vedaji's name. Rappan asked once more, "Brother, just tell me your grandfather's name." Badri cursed as a brother as before and told his grandfather's name. Then he asked great-grandfather's name. So here also, if you see the reference of patriarchal, that generally children are known with the name of their father, grandfather and great-grandfather. There is no mention of grandmother, mother, grandmother and great-grandmother. So this is how the patriarchy runs. All the value attached to man. And here we see the complete reflection of this. Badri pounded the door with his fist. "All right, don't open it, I'm going." Rappan Babu said, "Brother, these are dangerous times. I'm asking you all this because there are thieves roaring around out there. If you can't remember your great-grandfather's name, then don't tell me." But there is no point in getting angry. An angry act is a bad act. Having tasted Badri's identity and expressed his opinion of the worthlessness of anger, Rappan Babu opened the door. Badri wrestler came in twitching like a scorpion's tail. Rappan Babu asked, "What's the matter, brother? All the thieves have run away." Badri wrestler gave no reply. He climbed the stairs in silence. Rappan Babu disappeared into the lower portion of the house As soon as Rupan and Badri wrestlers lay down on their respective chorpai in the room upstairs, someone called out from the alley below, "Ustad, come down, it's damn confusing business." Badri called down from the doorway of the room, "What's up, Chote? Will you let me get some sleep, or are you going to stand yoked there all night?" Chote answered from below, "Ustad, forget about sleep now. You are discussing filling a police report. All the bastards around here were running round the streets shouting, 'Thief, thief!' and over there, in the middle of the old halla bolo, someone stuck, 'Gayadin's been robbed. Come down quickly.'" So this is the end of the chapter 10.